What's up, guys? It's time for another vinyl collection video. I just put out my soundtracks and scores. Now we're going to do just general music. Most of this is like rock and metal, but there might be some pop in there. So I counted it, and there were 56 scores, and there's 46 of these. So it's sort of down the middle. So you're going to get a nice, thick, big and thick video for both, okay? Anyway, let's get right into it. I won't waste as much time as I did at the intro of the last video. So if you want to see more of me telling you about my history and vinyl and all that stuff, then you can watch that. But anyway, we're going to jump into this. All right. This is just regular music. No scores, no soundtracks. All right. Here we go. Starting off with a bang. Ice Nine Kills, The Silver Scream. This took the horror community by storm. They have a track for a different horror movie. Like there's a track for Halloween. There's a track for Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. And there's like, I want to say like a dozen tracks on here. 13. Yeah, 13 tracks, which is funny enough. That's a good number. So there's even one for The Crow on it. But I mean, I love this. I've listened to it constantly. Great stuff. Great stuff. Ice Nine Kills. Okay, next one. Got to give Scott Lauderdale a shout out. He gave me this this one and another one I'm going to show you. But this is like a rarity. This is a single of Twisted Sister, We're Not Going to Take It. Really cool. And it's, really simple. But there's very few of these in existence. So it's nice when you have those. Here's some pop for you. Howard Jones. I love this freaking album. Remember the movie Better Off Dead? And, like to get to know you well. I love that movie, Better Off Dead. But that song is on this. But I got to listening to the whole record, and it's great. Every song on this is really good. There's a few hits on here, too. But even the non-hits are this is a really great background noise album, If you're cleaning the house or something like that, just throw on that. It's great stuff. Dream into Action. Okay. Fleetwood Mac, another shout out, Beth. She hooked me up with quite a few of these. Great stuff. But yeah, here is Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, one of the highest selling albums of all time. And it's just, example of all the turmoil and crazy shit that was going on in the background created this great music. If you didn't have all that, then you wouldn't have this. Now, very little country in my collection, but I do love me some George Strait, especially when I'm on the road and I'm driving. Like a long road trip, there's nothing better than some George Strait, Plus, you're listening to rock and you're listening to the podcast. You want to mix it up, throw on some George Strait, right? Duran 7 and the Ragged Tiger. I was a big Duran fan back in the 80s and 90s. A lot of big hits. This has The Reflex on it. New Moon on Monday, which is one of those. It's not really a big hit, but it's a memory in my childhood. That song, New Moon on Monday. That might have been the first. Probably not the first Duran song I heard, but for some reason that song really just stuck with me. New Moon on Monday. Yeah. Def Leppard. Pyromania. Yeah. Pyromania. Classic album. This is the 10 Limbs Def Leppard, not the 9 Limbs Def Leppard. Even though the 9 Limbs is equally impressive. All right. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. This is a lot. It's nice to have a live album. I got a couple live albums. Now this is one that, man, I got lucky. I struck gold. Vinnie Vincent, Invasion. I got the first album. I don't have the second album, All Systems Go. I need to find that one on vinyl. But man, when I was just in the one of the local record stores back when I lived in Melbourne, saw this and I jumped at it. Yeah, Vinnie Vincent, Invasion, baby. Vinnie Vincent, very controversial character who was in Kiss, very controlling, which is, it's the music business. It's the entertainment business. You're going to have controlling figures in there, but usually those guys are the ones that have all the talent. Say what you want about Vinnie Vincent, but damn, the guy had a signature style. He could write songs. You could have all the talent in the world, but if you can't write songs, then it's all for naught. And he wrote some of Kiss's biggest hits. And I'm saving Kiss for probably the end of this because I have quite a few Kiss albums. Okay. Van Halen, 1984. Probably one of the biggest 80s rock albums. Hot for Teacher, that freaking Alex Van Halen, probably one of the most underrated drummers out there. He is another one of those guys that just have a very signature style. Like I could hear like 3 notes of drumming, and I would know Alex Van Halen. That's who that is. You know, he was just that great of a drummer. Had a very signature snare sound. Even the way he mic'd his kit. People have tried to mic their kits like Alex Van Halen, but it's hard. It's hard to mic your kit like Alex Van Halen. And then you got to play like Alex Van Halen, which is almost impossible. AC/DC Back in Black, another, big iconic album. I actually prefer one of their other albums, which I'm going to show you that's in here. Not to take anything away from Back in Black, okay? Pat Benatar, classic. I think she's getting inducted finally into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's a nice image. Yeah. Big Pat Benatar fan. And if I could share a story, my sister, she had like Tony Basil, the Mickey song. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. And she had Pat Benatar. She would be singing at the top of her lungs in her bedroom. We're running with the shadows of the night. And I would be laughing at her. Okay. Power chords. This is a mixture of different artists. You got Anthrax, Ace Frehley, Kix, Malice, Manowar, Overkill, Raven, Sabotage, Testament, and White Lion. Great stuff on here. Great stuff on here. I'm a big Kix fan, Kix. Kix doesn't get enough credit. They have some really great songs. Midnight Dynamite, Blow My Fuse. They just struck gold at the very end of the 80s, even though they had albums before that. But Don't Close Your Eyes was like the big hit from Blow My Fuse. So then they put out this other album, which was equally impressive. But then Nirvana came along, and the rest is history. Foreigner. Here's a quiz for you. Why do they call themselves Foreigner? Why do they call themselves Foreigner? Well, the reason is because not all the members of the band are from the States. Some of them are foreigners. Some of them are from the UK, I think. And so no matter where they are, at least one of the members is going to be a foreigner. So that's why they call themselves Foreigner, which is kind of a simple yet funny story. Here's another collection. Thank you, Beth, she'll send me these compilation albums. These are fun, Twisted Sister, Wasp, Scorpions, Judas Priest, Dio. Some of the heavier stuff, kind of like Iron Maiden back in the day. Yeah. Classic album, U2, Joshua Tree. I'm not even a big U2 fan, but I can appreciate Joshua Tree. It is easily their best album, in my opinion. Not your opinion, maybe, but definitely my opinion. Okay. And I'm not a U2 connoisseur. I haven't listened start to front to back every album. So what do I know? Okay, Octane Baby is pretty good too. Another Foreigner album. This one is Double Vision. Double Vision. Okay. Another Masters of Metal Rage. Oh, wow. Great stuff here. You got Twisted Sister, Rush, Autograph, Helix, Blue Oyster Cult, Accept, Judas Priest, Y&T, Bon Jovi, and Stryper. I was a big Stryper fan back in the day. To Hell with the Devil. That song rocks as hard as any other freaking metal song from the 80s. It stands the test. To Hell with the Devil. Freaking Michael Sweet. Freaking his honey voice. Okay. This is Led Zeppelin. This is the first album. And you know what? I'll say Led Zeppelin. Yeah, I've always been a Led Zeppelin fan, but I've never listened to all the albums like front to back because you always hear it on the radio. So you never know what's what. So recently I went back and I was at work and I was painting and I listened to the albums from the first album all the way to the last album, which I think was Coda or something like that, in order. And I think it just gives you a better experience listening to the full albums, start to finish, better appreciation. And you can kind of rank the albums better, obviously. Led Zeppelin 3 is more of like an acoustic vibe to it. The first album is a little bit more raw sounding. The second one's more like experimental. And the fourth album is like their masterpiece. Physical Graffiti, their big epic double album, Kashmir. Yeah. Poison, Look What the Cat Dragged In. Fantastic album. I don't care if they look like girls. I love this album. Yeah. Got it upside down. Look What the Cat Dragged In. It's, you know what? This is a great album. Great songs on this album. Okay. Here's the AC/DC album that I like the best, Fly on the Wall. I think it packs even more of a punch than Back in Black. I think the songs are a little bit groovier. Playing with Girls, classic song, Fly on the Wall, Shake Your Foundations, First Blood. Not a bad song on this album. And it's about time it gets your credit, okay? We're going to go with Olivia Newton-John, rest in peace. Man, I miss her already, you know? And I will open this one up just to honor her. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Man, Olivia Newton-John. This is one of my, by the way, you might say, Lee, which albums do you listen to the most? This is one of them. When I'm like getting ready to do whatever in here to record, I went through a phase where I was listening to this album like constantly. So, Olivia, thank you for all that great music. This is Queen. This is A Night at the Opera. I think this might be their highest selling album, the most popular album. Does this one have Bohemian Rhapsody on it? Oh yeah, it does. Okay, it does have Bohemian Rhapsody. Okay, A Night at the Opera, classic album. That is Beth's favorite band too, by the way. Ghost. This is a single. I love this freaking song from Halloween Kills. It's Hunter's Moon, and it's got Halloween Kills' main title. I need to listen to that and see what that's all about. One of my all-time favorite albums right here. It is Joy Division. Yeah, Joy Division, Unknown Pleasures. They had Unknown Pleasures. They had Closer, and then they had Substance. But this one is easily one of my favorite albums. Just watch the documentary on Joy Division. And it talks about how they made this album and their other albums. Really interesting stuff. This was at a time in music when they were getting really experimental with, drum machines and how they created music. And there's a song on here called Digital. And this is kind of like the birth of digital in the way that, like using drum machines and everything feeling like ones and zeros, have I lost it? But yeah, this album, so freaking good. My New Dawn Fades is one of my all-time favorite songs. I should do a top 10 favorite songs. New Dawn Fades will definitely be in there. Here is, I had two of them here. Kingdom Come. This is the album I have playing on here right now. It's not playing, but I was listening to it before. Growing up in the 80s, they sound a lot like Led Zeppelin, but with I don't like using the term hair metal, but I guess an 80s rock twist. But James Kotak, one of my bigger drum influences. He is the guy on the far left. Yeah, James Kotak. Great drummer. He ended up playing for Warrant, I think, for when they went out on tour. But I love his style, Scott Lauderdale, another shout out for him. Tool. This is a rarity. This is a live album, Lollapalooza, and I was just listening to this, and it's great stuff because there's really very little live Tool out there in CD format. Saliva has I think a couple of live tracks on it, but this, the sound quality is excellent on this too. Now we're getting into Kiss. This is one of my favorite Kiss. This is my favorite Kiss album. Creatures of the Night. Love that freaking cover. Even though Ace Frehley is not really playing on the album at all, there is a version of this that has Vinnie Vincent in makeup that looks like this. I need to see if I can find it. I think it's pretty rare. But this is like Kiss coming back with a vengeance. Really heavy, probably their heaviest album, if I'm being honest. And this was right after, they had The Elder, which was a huge bomb, which I like The Elder, but it's just different, I like that Kiss were trying something different, but man, Creatures of the Night, they came back, full force. Let's make a metal album. And that's what this is. And there's so many great songs. And I Still Love You is one of my favorite ballads ever. Creatures of the Night, the great opener. Okay. Rock and Roll Over, another classic Kiss album. This is the Peter Criss, Ace Frehley era. But man, I love that album cover. 80s Kiss, Animalize. I believe Dave Vanderhoff sent this to me. Thank you, Dave. Animalize might be my least favorite of the 80s. No, actually, no, it's not my least favorite. It's Crazy Nights. That's my least favorite. Okay. But I still like Crazy Nights. It's got some good stuff on it. But this is with Mark St. John, who never did one live concert with them, because of his hand. I guess his hand cramped up. He had like severe arthritis. So he was the Kiss guitarist for all of 2 minutes. But he did get to record. He recorded that album. So I guess I got to give him that. Double platinum. If you want just a great greatest hits album from the 70s Kiss, look no further than Double Platinum. And I used to have Double Platinum back in the early 80s. That was one of the few vinyls I had back then. Kiss Destroyer, probably one of the most popular albums. That album cover, wow. And here is Love Gun. I recently saw an interview with Paul Stanley. He said Love Gun is his favorite top to bottom Kiss song. And that's a good choice. I like Love Gun. I like I Stole Your Love. That's a great tune. Here is Kiss Alive. This is the album that made them big. Their studio albums before that, they couldn't find the sound in the studio to capture that live sound that they have. So this was like their Hail Mary. If this doesn't work, we're done. And it not only did it work, it exploded. And this created the Kiss mania, I think this might be my favorite Kiss album, actually. Did I just say Creatures of the Night? Well, you know what? This and Creatures of the Night. Okay. Dynasty. I fell in love with this album recently, and I never really gave it too much of a chance, but it's definitely a little bit more poppy, but the songs are so good on this album. And it's just one of those, you just want to listen to it in the background, great tunes. This is my favorite Kiss album. Just kidding. Lick It Up. It is one of my probably top 3. Lick It Up. There's Benny Vincent on the far left. They put a wig on him. That's not his real hair. They put a wig on him, but he is all over this album. He's over like half of Creatures of the Night, but he's all over Lick It Up. And boy, does this show. Benny Vincent is a great freaking writer. You can't take that away from the guy. All Hell's Breaking Loose, one of my favorite Kiss songs for sure. Now we're done with the Kiss. Striper, Soldiers Under Command. I can't believe I found this just going collecting, vinyl collecting, and Soldiers Under Command. Wow. Brings back a lot of memories in the 80s. I had a Striper poster on my wall. They were a heavy Christian metal band, And to me, good music's good music. I don't care what label you put on it. If I like the tunes, I like the tunes, right? And I loved Striper. Genesis, Mama. This song scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, and it always stayed with me. It just has a very haunting, horror-ish sound to it, and that's the reason I love this album. And I saw this a couple years ago, and I looked on the back, and I was like, oh, shit, Mama's right there. It's the first song. So, yeah, Phil Collins, amazing musician. But, yeah. One of my all-time favorite records is this right here, Dolly Parton Best Of. Got to be from the 70s. I think this came out in 74, something like that. But no other, I don't want any other Dolly Greatest Hits album. This is the only one I want. It has all the songs that I could ever possibly ask for. This album is so important to me. encompasses a very important part of my life when I was in my, I was like 18, 19. I just joined the military. And this album was just one that I was just constantly listening to. Okay. I love Dolly. I love Dolly with all my heart. So Huey Lewis and the News, classic album, Sports. They have a lot of great albums, but Sports, I think, is probably their most famous. Couple Metallica albums for you. And Justice for All, my favorite Metallica album. I mean, you got freaking Blackened and Justice for All, One, Harvester of Sorrow, Dyer's Eve. This is Metallica, okay? And then you got the Black Album, which is good. It's when Metallica changed gears, and it's got a heavier sound. I love the way the drums sound on this album. It's just not one that I listen to all the time, but I listen to And Justice for All like constantly. Ride the Lightning. I need to get that one actually. This is the Zac Brown Band. Zac Brown Band. It's more of like a country rock type sound, but great stuff. Different flavor. Okay, Tool, Opiate. This is their very first album. All right. I saw some dude. I can't remember his channel. I think Finn McKinney, something like that. And he mentioned that people always complain about Tool. Like if you don't like Tool, then you got to complain about the people that love Tool. All right. Leave us alone. All right. Let us like what the fuck we like. Seriously. But he made the comment that one of the comments, because a lot of the stuff, Tool fans are annoying. I will admit that. But one of the comments was there was no progression in Tool's music. Are you fucking kidding me? Listen to this album and then listen to Fear Inoculum. And all the albums are like stepping stones. They constantly change their sound and progress with their, Tool has a certain sound. I'm going to say that, but they're constantly experimenting and trying different things. And each album has its own stamp. So I couldn't handle it with that statement. All right. You don't like Tool. That's one thing, but don't freaking say stupid shit like that. All right. There you go. I probably got myself in trouble. All right. But seriously, I will defend my band. All right. This is my favorite band. Okay. Tool is my all-time favorite band. Lateral. I'm not saying they're the greatest freaking band ever. I just prefer them. Okay. Their music connects with people individually on different levels. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if this is the bee's knees for you, then that's okay. All right. And I admit that some Tool fans, they take it too far and they think Tool's like the great. No, I love all music. All right. All music has something to say. All right. But this is the music that changed my life. It's as simple as that. When I heard Tool's Anima, it changed my life. And I looked at music in a different way. There's a couple bands that did that to me. Dream Theater is one of them. They just made me look at music in a different way. I say Dream Theater in the way of Mike Portnoy's drumming. But Tool, as far as like creating a sound that nobody else has, that's what I loved about Tool. And Danny Carey, another drummer that like, he's my favorite drummer. So Lateralis, this is my all-time favorite album. Okay. Real simple. Alex Gray's artwork, but yeah. Yeah. There's my Tool rant for you. Leather Duchess. This is some friends of mine on Instagram. They have the band and they sent this to me. And there's the band on the back. You get Leather Duchess. You can find them on Instagram, guys. Check them out. Last one. And who better than Olivia Newton-John? Another one of her greatest hits album. Her beautiful face right there. You are missed so much. Okay, guys, we did it. We did it. That's both videos done now. Tell me why you like vinyl down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching this. I love sharing my collection with you guys. Let me know your favorite album in your vinyl collection. But yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to come over to Killer Flicks where we talk horror all day and every day. And on Fridays, we do Free for Fridays. Follow me at DrumDums and on my socials. Support me on Patreon. Buy me a coffee. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. DrumDum out.